WIBTAH for asking for a divorce because my wife betrayed my trust. When I, 40M, was a kid, I was groomed by a cousin 11 years older than me, and when I was 13, she got pregnant and had the kid. It fucked me up a lot, as you can imagine, and she eventually was found out and went to prison for it. The kid was took off her and went the foster care/adoption route, and I was not allowed any form of relationship at all with the kid. My parents and social services forbade it. He's now 26 and has had a very troubled life, I understand, been in and out of prison. I have continued to have no relationship or contact with him. Despite issues in my teens, I turned my life around and I'm now married to my wife, 45F, and we have a daughter, 6F, together. I have a son, 19M, from a previous relationship who I had sole custody of until I met my wife, and she has a daughter, 25F, from a previous relationship. I'm no stranger to Reddit, so I'll answer now. Yes, I have had therapy and counseling for it all. We've had a pretty good family unit for a few years, but 3 years ago, I had a hard time with my son after he found about what happened to me as a kid, and he found out he technically has an older half-brother and wanted a relationship with him. Despite how hard it was for me, I agreed, and my wife mainly agreed to be the main support for him and be behind it all on the condition A, I have no contact myself, and B, our daughter doesn't hear about it and is kept out of it. My reasoning on the latter is that she's too young to find out, and I don't want to confuse her at such a young age, and also, she's a kid and will talk about it, and I don't want anyone to find my business out. My wife agreed, and son respected my wishes, and to my knowledge, it's all been handled well. The 26M got out of prison a couple of years ago, and I understand my son has met him, and I thought after a while, my wife stepped away a bit as he's now old enough to have contact on his own. I have never said she would never be told the truth, just that we would tell her when she was older and could understand. Last week, I noticed my daughter was drawing a picture, and I looked at it and I asked her about it. She was a bit sheepish and was acting like she wasn't supposed to, so I persisted and she answered me. It was a picture of her family. It had me, her mum, her, my son, her older sister and her big brother in her words. I asked her about it after more coaxing, and she said she sees him with mummy sometimes on their own. I asked her how long it's happened for, and she said since she was little, but mummy said she's not supposed to talk about it and said to not tell daddy as it'll upset me. I reassured her she's not in trouble and I'm not upset with her, and confronted my wife about it later when she got in. She admitted it was true, and I asked her how long it's been going on, and she said ever since my son had contact 3 years ago. She took my daughter to see him in prison once at the start because she didn't have childcare one day, and when he got out, she's kept taking her to see him since. I asked her who knows, and she admitted they all know, her, my son, and even my stepdaughter knows. I was beyond angry, so I packed some things and left the house and have been staying at an Airbnb since. She's been trying to call me to talk, so has my son, and even my stepdaughter has been trying to call me to talk about it. I just can't face them. I know I need to go home today and I'm in the process of contemplating it, but I genuinely feel like I can't stand them all, and I'm thinking of asking for a divorce over it. My wife was the one person in life who I trusted, and had my back enough to share it all, and I feel like she's done something on par with what my rapist did and betrayed my trust. Despite her keeping on saying how sorry she is, she just keeps on saying she did it for our daughter and felt sorry for the older lad. WIBTAH. Update: so I'm going to go home and talk to them all. I fucking miss my kids so much, and the dog. No idea what will happen. Update 2: so I got home and me and the wife have had a chat. I've decided I don't want a divorce, but we are going to separate for a bit, and she's going to stay with my stepdaughter for a while. We're going to try couples counseling to see where it takes us. I see some suggestions about trying individual therapy again. That is a given, and I'm definitely going again. NTA? Never ever tell a kid not to tell their parents, unforgivable. NTA? You set a major boundary, you gave a very valid reason for the boundary, and you were very clear about where the boundary was, and yet she crossed it. That's not something that happens accidentally. Best case scenario, it's disinterest in your wishes. Worst case scenario, she thought she knew better than you and actively dismissed your wishes. In any case, it's clear-cut betrayal, and I don't know how you could come back from this. If you stay with your wife, you can never set a boundary again without having to worry that she'll cross it. You're completely in the right if you say that is not a life you want. NTA personally, I could never come back from this type of betrayal. To know your history and to have agreed on conditions only to knowingly and repeatedly break them is vile. Not only that, but to tell your young daughter to keep it a secret tells you that she consciously knew she shouldn't be doing it and she knew it would hurt you, but chose to continue to do so, not to mention the nastiness of involving a young child in the deceit. Such a high-level and frequent violation of trust would be really hard to fix. First of all, your feelings are 100% valid. This is a major violation of your trust. You should give yourself grace and take as long as you need before seeing or speaking with your family members. Do not let anyone try and invalidate your feelings moving forward. A major parenting decision was made without your consent and behind your back. To make matters worse, your child was told to lie to you. You mention you've been in therapy. Consider reaching out to your therapist as you try and process your feelings, especially since this situation is bringing up your past trauma. Don't rush home because your family keeps calling. Take your time and be kind to yourself.